Welcome to Treasure Island, the classic novel by Robert Louis Stevenson. Chapter 2, Black Dog. That winter was brutally cold, with heavy snow and roaring gales. My poor father, already ill, stood little chance of surviving until spring. My mother and I found ourselves taking care of every chore in the inn, with scarcely a moment to spare for our unpleasant lodger, Billy Bones. One piercingly cold January morning, the harbor lay under a blanket of snow, the small waves lapping at the icy rocks. The sun had only just cleared the mountain ridges, sending rays of pale light far across the sea. The captain, Billy Bones, got to his feet earlier than his norm. With his long knife swinging at his side, his brass telescope tucked under one arm, and his hat tipped far back on his head, he marched outside toward the beach. Before he vanished behind a large rock, I distinctly heard him snorting and muttering as though in a boiling temper. I was inside, hurrying to set the table for his breakfast, when the door suddenly opened. In walked a stranger, thin, pale, and missing 2 fingers from his left hand. He did not have the straightforward look of a sailor, yet there was something in his bearing that whispered of the sea. He asked for rum. I was about to fetch it when he motioned me closer. I hesitated, and he called out in a tone I can only describe as half friendly, half menacing. "Come here, boy. Come nearer, if you please." I paused, uncertain, and he continued. "Is this table for my mate Bill?" I said I didn't know any Bill, explaining that the table was set for our guest, the man we simply called the captain. "Why, that'd be him, sure enough," the stranger answered. "He's got a scar on his left cheek, don't he? And a pleasant manner when he's deep in drink. That's my mate Bill. So, is he at home?" I told him Billy Bones had gone out. "Aye, out is he," said the stranger. "Which way, lad?" When I pointed out the route, he remained where he was, watching the cove like a cat about to spring on a mouse. At one point, I tried to step outside, but he barked at me to stay, cursing so fiercely that it sent a chill through me. Then, with sudden politeness, he patted my shoulder and told me, "You're a good lad. I've a boy at home much like you, and I'm mighty fond of him. Remember, though, a boy must learn discipline. Now, see there? Here comes Bill. You and me, we'll just slip inside that room behind the open door and give Bill a little jolt, eh?" With that, he drew me into the adjoining parlor, positioning himself so that both of us were hidden behind the door. I saw his hand slide toward the knife at his belt. A moment later, Billy Bones strode in, slamming the door and going straight to the breakfast table without a glance to either side. "Bill!" the stranger called, trying for a bold voice. The captain spun round. His face went ashen pale, and his eyes grew wild. In that moment, he looked all at once years older. The stranger continued, "Surely you know me, Bill. Don't tell me you've forgotten an old shipmate." Billy Bones made a strangled sort of sound. "Black Dog!" he gasped.
"None other," said the newcomer. "We've seen a sight of trouble since I lost these 2 fingers, haven't we?" He lifted his left hand for emphasis. Billy Bones bit out. "Well, you've found me, so speak your mind. What is it you want?" "Still the same old Bill," said Black Dog with a shrug. "Let's have this good lad fetch us a glass of rum, and then we'll sit and talk like mates of old." I brought in the rum. Black Dog waved me out again, warning me not to hover at the door. I withdrew to the bar, trying my best to catch their words. All I heard was a low, urgent muttering and a few curses from Billy Bones. Then, abruptly, a chair toppled, steel clashed, and there was a sharp cry. Moments later, Black Dog burst through the door. Billy Bones charging hard at his heels, Black Dog's shoulder soaked in red. At the threshold, the captain's blade came down in a savage stroke that surely would have split Black Dog in 2 if it hadn't caught the edge of our inn signboard. Freed by that stroke, Black Dog darted outside and vanished behind a drift of snowy ground. Billy Bones staggered there a moment, blinking dazedly, then stumbled back indoors and growled, "Jim, rum!" He braced himself against the wall, swaying. I dashed to get the rum, scarcely knowing what I did for the shock of it all. Then I heard a heavy crash from the parlor. Rushing back, I found Billy Bones sprawled on the floor, unconscious. At that very moment, my mother, alarmed by the noise, came hurrying down. Together we propped him up. She cried, "Oh, mercy! This is dreadful! And your poor father lying upstairs, so ill!" We had no idea what injury the captain might have taken in his fight with the stranger, nor how to help him. Just then, the door opened, and in walked Dr. Livesey. The relief I felt at his arrival is beyond words. I exclaimed, "Doctor, I can't tell how he's hurt, but he's gone stiff, like he's near death." "He's not wounded," Dr. Livesey said calmly. "He's had a stroke, just as I warned him might happen." With a note of gentle warmth, he added, "Madam, please return to your husband upstairs. Do try not to worry him with all this. I'll do what I can for this fellow. Jim, fetch me a basin." When I came back with the basin, the doctor had already peeled back the captain's sleeve. On that powerfully muscled arm were several tattooed phrases, among them, "Here's luck," "A fair wind," and "Billy Bones his fancy." Dr. Livesey nodded, then said, "Hold the basin here, Jim, while I see how much blood he can spare." Taking a small lancet, he opened a vein. After we drew a good amount of blood, Billy Bones blinked awake and muttered, "Where's Black Dog?" "There is no black dog here," Dr. Livesey answered, "aside from the one in your own conscience. You've drowned yourself in rum, and this is the price. Now, Mr. Billy Bones." "That's not my name," Billy Bones blurted, trying to sit up. "I don't much mind what you call yourself," Dr. Livesey replied crisply, "but that name belonged to a pirate I once heard of, and it'll do well enough. Let me give you one warning. A single glass of rum may not kill you, but another and another soon will. Do you understand? Now, come along, and I'll help you to bed." It took all our strength, but at last we hoisted him upstairs. He collapsed in a daze, scarcely conscious. Dr. Livesey motioned me aside. "He'll be quiet now I've bled him," the doctor told me. "That's best for him, and for you. But another stroke would settle him."